Welcome to the channel and welcome to this video featuring X-Plane 12.3.0, a version that we're using currently in closed beta. But hopefully it won't be too long before you guys get to play with this as well. Won't be surprised that I say this, do make yourself a copy and play with a copy. I've got a dedicated copy for this. I've just got a few things that I've installed into it, such as the Zibo 737. We're just going to take this from here in Birmingham down to Faro. Just going to focus on the views of the takeoff, views of the arrival. Just to make you aware of all the new features in X-Plane, which is the historic weather. So I've got my time of day currently set to early morning. It's the 2nd of September, the day I'm filming on this, so hence that's why that's set to manual time of day, because it no longer reflects the real world time of day. So these are the conditions that we had at that time of day. So I've just set the time and date to match the current time and date. Notice how it's correctly got the UTC time and the local time. So we'll go and have a look at the weather now. And you can see some subtle changes on here, particularly around the temperature as it's warmed up a little bit. Weather en route, I just want to highlight the jet stream, just the position of that at the moment, so that's going to give us some strong crosswinds as we're in the cruise. Please do note that in relation to the Zibo, it's the current version that you can all go and grab today, so it's version 4.41. Just something else to mention today then, so I've just powered up the APU and you'll note that I've switched on one of the centre tank fuel pumps. And why is that? Let's have a look down here. We've of course got fuel in centre, so it makes sense to burn the APU fuel from the centre tank and risk getting an imbalance. Please make sure, no matter what aircraft you fly, before you release the chocks, have a look at your brake pressure. Make sure that you've got enough pressure to apply the brake pressure to the brakes. So parking brake is set. Remove chocks, remove the GPU. One more tip, 737 related. So set your pressurization panel to the highest cruise altitude that you're anticipating to get. So we're going to be initially cruising at 350 and then we're going to go for 370. Probably not the most realistic thing you can do at Birmingham International Airport, but we're just backtracking here and just going to line up on runway 15. The other thing to note, I did say that this was a fresh installation of X-Plane, so I'm not using any additional scenery or anything like that. This is all vanilla. I've just dragged over the Zibo and a few little lower scripts as well. Don't even have better pushback yet. Right, so we are good to go. Right, so we've burnt about 200 kilos of fuel already, and that's what was expecting. That's our taxi fuel and all of that. So we are good to go. Start the chrono just now, and off we go. N1, Takeoff.
$80 knots.
Checked. Throttle hold.
V1, rotate.
Protect bake.
Positive rate.
And the gear up.
$400.
Certainly waving a bit there with the wings, aren't I? Let's just pitch this right up to where the flight director's telling us. If enough speed,
1,000.
Climb 1. So you can see now it's just reduced the power that the flight director's commanding a much lower pitch. So I'm gonna go command As we now come up to our flat 1 speed and go flat 1. So far so good, and it's going to command 230 knots, so flaps up. Let's see if there's anything to see. Cloud. Cloud. Not much then. Right, let's do our after takeoff stuff. I was just thinking it wasn't working then, and I just realised I was just pressing the wrong button on the controller, so... User error. Right, there we go.
1,000 to go.
So we're on the way. Now, we've got 6,000 selected, haven't we? Still got those constraints at Moson and Compton. Now, we don't really want to be holding at 6,000 feet, do we? So, if we just pretend that we've got a much higher level, say flight level 210. Now what we're going to need to do here, if we want to remain in VNAV, is push the Alt intervene button. So the soft, as I call it, 6,000 in there, because that's not a constraint associated with the waypoint, but it's showing 6,000 there because 6,000 at Compton. So all we will need to do is just push the Alt intervene button once. So we get N1 VNAV speed, and that's because we've just told it to get rid of that constraint there. We'll go with the 250 knots below at Compton. There might be incredibly posh people and not appreciate the noise, and we might get fined something like $1 billion if we go over there in a noisy fashion. Right, transition there, and there. I didn't bring all the files over for the zibo either, so that's why I'm having to do a bit more work than what I normally do. Right, so what do we want to see? Should we have a look at the glare shield for a bit? It's improving, isn't it, weather-wise? But as I say, these are all default default scenery. I've not put Sim Heaven back, and in terms of Map Enhancement Pro, that what's it called? Map Enhancement Pro, MEP, the map enhancement that I did a tutorial on there, and I know a lot of you found that useful. Amazing type of stuff I really like doing is when I like doing the tutorials. I like it when they are helpful as well. So that was great to get all those all that feedback on that one. I've actually stopped using it. Why? I don't know. I think as we got near to the beta, I was just thinking, well, I need to go back and think about seeing it explain as it comes out of the box. So same with Sim Heaven. I may or may not put that one back. Plus the other thing with map enhancement, I need to go and what do I need to do with map enhancement? I think I need to update the base library to 2.01. It's a lot of downloading. I'll get around to it at some point. Definitely will. We'll do a follow-up tutorial on that. Now, these clouds are really, really nice. So it's quite a really clear morning across the UK, and it's a free day for me, as I was not used on a very, very early morning standby. I've got the day to myself, so brilliant. Sat outside having breakfast. It was really, really warm, and then the clouds come over. So as you can see, we're expecting some rain in the afternoon. But anyway, for today, we're going to get ourselves down to Faro. So I will show you the approach and landing. Just half an hour's gone since we took off from Birmingham, and I just wanted to show you the forecast winds are as expected. We've got 300 knots, no we haven't, 300 degrees at 100 knots. I put the flight path factor on there so that you could just see there the impact difference between the track and the aircraft's heading. You might notice a little ring that I've just put around a buppy. I just want to be step climbing or thinking about step climbing there up to flight level 370. At the moment the fuel situation's good, although we have burnt a bit more than what we should have done at this stage of the flight, but I'm happy with those figures there. We're showing 3.2 tonnes on arrival. Reserves is 2.7, so that's going to give us 500 kilos there. So total contingency fuel was 0.7 tonnes, so we've burnt 200 kilos of that already, but now's a time when things should start to settle down and kind of realign with the forecast. Here we are then, made some more progress. You can see the winds as displayed on the navigation display are as per the prediction here, so we've got 50 knots still coming from the right hand side, but we are now out of the worst of this jet stream. So planning for our arrival then into Faro, based on a flap 30 approach with these conditions that we've got. We're going to need auto brake 3. I think to be extra kind to the brakes, we'll see what happens with flap 30. That should just shorten our braking distance slightly. And you can see it shortens our stopping distance just a little bit, so we'll go with that. I expect the brakes are going to get quite hot there, as you can see by these messages here. So the overall time to cool the brakes is quite significant. So those calculations are based on our landing weight of 61.3 tonnes. How do we get to 61.3 tonnes? Zero fuel weight of 58, add on to our FMC forecast arrival fuel of 3.3 tonnes. So I've just begun descent, and just showing you as well the fuel readout. So the average fuel burn, I've just been taking some notes, and you can see there it was around about 2,266 kilos. That's across both engines at the last readout, just a little bit more before that on the prior readout. And then the fuel on board situation, so SimBrief tells us when we did the plan that we should have 3,916 kilos left. We've actually just got 3,883 kilos left, so what's that, 17 plus, that's 33 kilos, isn't it? So that's good. And the fuel burn, well, we should have burnt 5,785 kilos. We've just burnt a bit more than that, 5,919 kilos, so what we're looking at there, about 135 kilos more. But anyway, as I was saying earlier, those figures, once you're in the cruise, that's the time to really get your teeth into them, start monitoring them, and you should see that alignment with them if you've got a good SimBrief profile and you've popped in all the necessary data correctly. Right, I'll see you down for our landing on runway. It's going to be landing on runway 28 in Faro, so I'll see you then. Nearly here. So just armed the localizer, just levelling off at 2,000 feet with the QNH of 1019. Just going to let the plane decelerate down to the clean speed. Just using the normal range rings that I've got there, so I can see at a glance that we're approaching 11 miles out from the airfield. Let's just cross check there what we've got with the frequency. 1095, 282, 282. 1095 there. You should cross check that from the chart, so not from that, gives you a chance. It's going to be right, of course. So localizer, that looks like it's armed. There we go, Vorlock. And we are 1,700 feet. No, we're not. We're 1,100 feet just above the VNAV path, which in theory should be before we capture the glide slope. So I'm going to do config 1. No, we're not. I'm going to do flap 1. That's the Airbus again in me, isn't it? I need exercising. A proper exorcism of Airbus. So I do need exercise at the moment. Got a problem with my knee. Don't run on it. So localizer just on Alt hold. What's the missed approach? Thangy. Missed approach is 3,000 or above. Okay, so let's slow down. Bear in mind when we capture this, it's going to move down quite quick. So flap 5. Could have been a bit more planned for that. Just see how quick it moves down. When you intercept something from such a low height, you know, just be prepared for things to happen quick. So let's put the approach in there as well. Glide slopes and flap 10. I'm just going to wind this right down to the reference speed. We're going to go gear down now. Remember, this is all default scenery. So I've got the same graphic settings as what I had on Explain, well, the current Explain 12. Flap 15. Let's just wind that up now to 3,000 feet. So winds as expected. It's just kind of coming from the north at the moment. So I've got the flight path vector on, so we can just see there the impact of the wind. And then we're going to do flap, whatever the next setting is, 25. Flap 30, and then quite unusual for me, I'm going to do a flap 40 arrival. So flap 40, 1:39 set. I'm expecting the engines there to spool up by quite a significant amount. Got a bit of a symmetry going on there now, so let's go up to 60% N1.
1,000 feet,
Why
stabilized,
60%?
approach altitude set.
Because normally it's 55, isn't it? Around 55. Typical weights that I fly at. It's 55% for flap 30. So it's going to be quite a few more N1s at these weights. At this flap setting, sorry. Weights normal, it's just the flap setting that's different to what I normally do. Let's disconnect the autopilot. So we'll leave the flight director in. We've got the missed approach altitude set, speed brakes armed.
500.
I've not even got stable approach installed. Remember I said there's no plugins. But
400.
that's what we need to be doing at the moment, just fairly
300.
minimal installation to play with beta software. Just getting a bit high there, aren't I? Anyway, here's
200.
Faro.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Might be a bit of a firm one. Should have been ready there with the rudder. Let's just go for a bit of reverse. Now that's reverse, that extra reverse from what I normally do.
80 knots.
That's not going to reduce your stopping distance. All that's going to do, it helps the brakes. Disarm the auto brake.
We'll be taxiing for the next few minutes, so please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened.
I was in Corfu the other day and it was, as you can imagine, quite hot there. And see, Corfu's got a short runway, hasn't it? So when you land there, you really feel the reverse, and you can hear it. You can hear it. They obviously use a lot more reverse than on a longer runway. Anyway, here we are, 2 hours 28 into Faro. Stop the chrono. Just click a little button on my joystick, and that kicks in this script. All the script does is it just saves me a few clicks. Saves me from clicking around in the flight deck. Now what we've got over here, we've got some kind of parked aircraft there, haven't we? So I've got two grates from the tablet here. Approach rating grate and landing rating grate. Hope you've enjoyed our flight out to Faro today, and when time permits I'll do some more footage of X-Plane 12.3.0 so that we can enjoy it together until such time that you can play with the beta. But I want to go away now and just get familiar with a few more things in the new version. So thanks for viewing. Any comments or questions, do let me know, and I'll see you on a future video. Thanks again, and bye bye.